Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. I wish I hadn't sent that message. How many times have you heard that before? The number of people I met in prison, or the number of cases that I heard about where people had been entrapped online just because they replied to a message. Here's the scenario. You have people who are civilians, in some cases they're actually undercover law enforcement officers, and their aim is to entrap people into doing something or into admitting or planning to do something that they had no idea or no intention of doing. And once they admit to that, then they get caught and they spend the rest of their lives in prison. If they're lucky, they may spend only a few years in prison. Otherwise, they get sent for the rest of their life. I've seen that happen so many times. There was a case where there was an American grandmother, a lady, and she's not a Muslim. And she was going onto these chat forums and she's going onto these social media networks and she's posting provocative statements about Americans, about Jews. She's posting inflammatory rhetoric. And the people that would respond to that, then she would engage them in private conversation. And then she would steer them towards that we have to do something, we have to carry out attacks, we have to do something, and we have to kill people, we have to kill innocent people, whatever it is. She would get people to admit to involvement in criminal activity. And then all of that evidence she would get and give that to the law enforcement authorities. They would arrest that person. And in many cases, there's people now in America that are still doing life sentences. Had they not replied to that message, had they not engaged with someone that was trying to goad them or bait them into doing something illegal, then those people would not be in prison. But they're now in prison and they'll be there for the rest of their lives. I wish I hadn't sent that message. You do not know who that person is on the other side. The same thing when it comes to lust and desires. There's a site or there's an account, there's various accounts like this on TikTok. There's one called UK Stings. There's other ones called Predator Hunters. And all these people they go and they find out lone young men. Well, they're not actually young men in many cases. They find men who are unable to control their lust and desires. They engage them in conversation, pretending that she is a 13-year-old girl. It's an adult who's behind this. And in many cases, it's not even a girl, it's a man. He pretends that he's a 13-year-old girl and he exchanges messages with this guy and he thinks it's private and he thinks he's talking to a 13-year-old girl and it's a man who's behind it. And then he starts saying, yeah, send me photos of yourself. Eventually he gets to the point where he says, let's meet up. They arrange to meet up. And when it goes to the place, it's not a 13-year-old girl that comes to meet him. It's the Predator Hunter or the UK Stings team. And they've got cameras and they come and they film this guy and they tell him that we've got the evidence, you disgusting piece of whatever, you came here to meet a 13-year-old girl and it's illegal and you're going to prison and the police is being called. And if you look at their website on TikTok, if you look at their account, the number of people that start crying or they start apologizing once they are caught, and people who are told that that's the end of your visa, you're going to be deported now. And in fairness, yeah, there's a lot of colored people on there, but it's not just colored people. There's a lot of white people on there as well. And they're telling this person who has just come here and he's on a student visa, and they're telling these people who have just arrived in the UK and he's on a student visa that you're going to go to prison and you're going to get deported because you've broken the law, because you were trying to engage an underage child, and that is illegal according to the law of this country. So these are the consequences. And the guy is apologizing. He's saying, I beg you, please, I'm sorry, what's going to happen about my wife, my kids, my studies. And they're saying to him, you should have thought about all of these things before you try to engage a child in this type of activity. There was a case just recently, February 2026, where a Muslim NHS doctor, a consultant anaesthetist in Wales, and this is a guy who's in his 50s, and these guys have gone to him and they've basically gone to his doorstep and they've said to him that, and these predator hunters have gone to this doctor's doorstep. His wife is in the background. You can't see her on the camera. She's crying and she's saying, there must be some mistake. He's a nice man. And the predator hunters say to this man, while he's on camera, they say to this doctor that, tell your wife what you have been doing. Tell her what you've been doing. And then he turns around and says to his wife, I've been talking inappropriately to kids. So here's a family man. He appears to be around 50 or in his 50s. And then his wife, she starts crying and she starts saying to him in the background, what have you done? What have you done? This guy, so the police then, they came, they arrest him, and he will most likely lose his job. He'll go to prison and he'll probably end up losing his family. That's the end of his life. I wish I hadn't sent that message. All of these things, they could be prevented by someone not sending that message because you don't know who is on the other side. 3 learning points from today's regret. The first one, we are accountable to Allah for everything that we say, for everything that we do, and for everything that we write online. A lot of people, this last point, they think, oh, it's just online, it's just a message, it's just a post. I didn't really mean it. I didn't really mean that I was actually going to carry out an attack. I just said it just to sound brave. It doesn't work like that. It's illegal. You're going to go to prison. And if you're lucky, you're going to go for a few years. And if it's America, you'll go for the rest of your life. Oh, I didn't really mean to say this to that person. You will be held accountable before Allah for everything that you said, everything that you did, and everything that you wrote. Everything that you wrote, you're accountable for. Whether it's online, whether it's abusing someone, whether it's swearing at someone, whether it's saying something about someone's family, whether it's insulting someone, whether it's a private WhatsApp message. There's no privacy before Allah. You will be held to account for it. Before you write something down on a phone or on a computer or in an email or in a message, ask yourself, would you be happy with Allah seeing this? And Allah asking you in public on the Day of Judgment about this. Would you be happy with that? Because He will. He knows about it. He does see it and He will ask you about it. The second learning point, everything you write down on an electronic device, it is recorded and it can be used against you. The number of people I saw in prison where text messages and emails and social media posts that they had written admitting to things or claiming that they're going to do things, and they were held to account on those things that they wrote. Myself, when I was in prison in America, I'm given files, electronic files of every single email I had sent and received and forwarded from all of my email accounts. Alhamdulillah, there was no criminality in there, which is why I'm still here, otherwise I'll still be in prison. But the point is, I had to go in there and I had to read through emails that were maybe 15, 20 years old. And I had to account for, there wasn't anything problematic in there, but I had to my lawyers at least, I had to go through and I had to explain what was the circumstances behind me sending or receiving a particular message, which I don't even remember. In most cases, 15 years ago, I didn't even remember. In some cases, I was able to do it. In some cases, I was not able to do it. Everything that you write down, ChatGPT, people use it like a therapist. People use it like they admit to things. They admit to criminality. They admit to things that they've done. They admit to things that they're doing. It's all being recorded. It's all being recorded. All your internet searches. So it's not a conspiracy. There's not like a secret center that is recording these and there's a secret thing no one knows about. It's all in public. They actually say it in the terms and conditions of the agreement before you sign up to Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. It's all written there that we will record the data that you enter here. They're not hiding it from anyone. A lot of people are unaware in terms of privacy, in terms of criminality. Things that you write down on your phone, on a device, on a computer, they are recorded. And it may be that if you're up to something, then you may be held to account for those according to the law. And if it's something that you're doing which is wrong according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will hold you to account for them. There was an imam by the name of Imam Wissam Sharif from America, and he used to teach Quran, and he taught apparently tens of thousands of students online. He taught Quran. This guy, may Allah forgive him, This guy, he was reported by his own wife. His own wife reported him when she saw inappropriate videos on his phone of things that he is asking an underage child to do. And when his wife saw that, then she reported him to the police. May Allah protect her, but at what cost? In doing so, she paid the price of destroying her life and the life of her children, as it was at that point. She reported her husband when she saw those things on his phone. And he went to prison, he pleaded guilty, and now he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. I wish I hadn't sent that message. It all starts from one message. Someone contacts you, or they ask you something, or they invite you or entice you into something. You responding with that one message, it can destroy your life and those around you. So don't write anything that you would not be happy for someone else to see and that you would not be happy to talk about or defend in a court of law. One point I wanted to say about this husband and wife thing. You see this thing on social media where people are talking about, no, I don't give my wife doesn't have access to my phone. Why? My husband doesn't have access to my phone. Why? Why does your wife not have access to your phone? If you think that your wife having your password and going into your phone, she's going to see something, or she's going to look at your photos, or she's going to look at your private messages with your friends, if you think that's going to happen, there's a deeper issue of trust. There's a lack of trust in your marriage. And likewise, sister, if you think that your husband going into your phone is going to go into your photos and look at the photos of your friends who are not in hijab, or he's going to go into your private messages that you're exchanging with your friends, if you think your husband will do that, there's a deeper issue here, and it's not about the password. There's a lack of trust. You ultimately do not trust your husband, or you don't trust your wife. If you have nothing to hide, if you're not a porn addict and you're not involved in flirting with members of the opposite sex while you're married, and you're not involved in inappropriate behavior on your phone, why do you have a problem if your wife has your password or if your husband has your password? You shouldn't have a problem with that. And the third learning point, before you click send or post, before you write a message, especially if it is emotionally charged, sleep on it overnight or show it to someone. Involve someone else and take their opinion. Should I send this or not? Relationships break down because of one message. People break the law and they go to prison because of one message. Just one message. So before you send a message or a post, especially if it is emotionally loaded, especially if you are angry, sleep over it or show it to someone and then send it. And you'll find, in most cases, you'll find in the morning that when you look at it again, you decide not to send it. And that's happened with me. It's happened many, many times. I will write a message and then I'll sleep over it, and the next day I'll just delete it. There's no point of me sending that message. So in some cases, you just need to write it to get it out and then just delete it. Don't even send it. But once you press send, it becomes permanent. Before I end, I have one request to make of you. My mother died a few weeks ago. She was a teacher. She taught many children in her small house. My family is building a school in Pakistan with the Reed Foundation in the name of my mother, which will educate hundreds of poor school children who otherwise will not be able to go to school. The cost of this project is £200,000. Neither I nor my family will see or handle a penny of these donations. They will go directly to the Reed Foundation. There is a link in the description below. If you benefited from, or if you are affected by anything in this video, my humble request to you today, please leave a donation of £10 for my mum's school and ask 2 other people to do the same. Till the next video, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.